Yo, what is up, guys? I'm bringing you guys today with a video that I really need to make because the slander needs to stop, alright? The slander needs to stop on Canelo Alvarez's name. A week ago, Canelo Alvarez suffered his second loss in his career against Dimitri Bivol, a natural 175-pounder. I say natural because he is a natural 175-pounder. People say that he's not because he said he could make 168, but turns out it turns out that he might not even make 168. He said himself that he doesn't believe that he can make 168 anymore. So let's be honest here. The disrespect on Canelo Alvarez has been just crazy. Like, I can't believe a lot of haters decided to crawl out of their goddamn sewer and celebrate because people think that Canelo got destroyed, but he did not get destroyed. Let me tell you, he did not get destroyed, and the weight was a lot for Canelo Alvarez. The weight and the reach did affect him in this fight. Canelo looked sluggish. He didn't look like he had enough stamina. He just did not look like Canelo Alvarez, and it makes sense because this is his second fight at 175. Let's not forget that his first fight he fought against Kovalev, who's 36 and was pretty much out of his prime at that point. So yeah, makes sense why Canelo was able to beat him. But we're talking about Bivol. We're talking about a guy who's 31 years old, who's in his prime, who is taller and just a natural 175-pounder. We're talking about someone who has advantage over Canelo in every aspect. Including a lot of skill. I'm gonna be honest. Bivol, not to take away from Bivol. Bivol won fair and square. He did what he had to do. He pretty much did what he had to do to win that fight. Nothing to take away from Bivol. He did it great. But the thing is that a lot of people are saying that Canelo Alvarez ain't shit, and Canelo Alvarez will lose, and he's been avoiding Charlo and Benavidez for this reason. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest here. Canelo Alvarez fought at 175. He did not fight at 168. If it was 168, Canelo will be different. I'm pretty sure, because that's his weight class. He's still undisputed at 168. Let's not forget, Canelo is still undisputed at 168. He still reigns at 168. Mostly, I think this was a challenge. This was a challenge for Canelo Alvarez because he decided to grab some balls and go up there again to the 175 and challenge the second best, arguably the number one light heavyweight in terms of styles, because Beterbiev, he's strong, he is a hard puncher, he's heavy hands, but Bivol is more technical and more of a boxer, and he could be a problem for anybody. And we gotta give credit to Canelo, man. He dared to be great, going up again to 175. He could have just not gone back up there anymore, but he decided to test himself and go up there. Now, let's not forget, Canelo Alvarez wasn't even hurt that badly in that fight. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really that badly hurt. The way the fight went is because Canelo Alvarez decided to he gassed out really fast. He gassed out like around round 4 or 5. He started gassing out really fast, man. Canelo Alvarez gassed out super fast, and he just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle Bivol's pressure and Bivol's speed. Obviously, because he's a natural 175-pounder. And Canelo didn't look like himself. But what Canelo did is that he unloaded everything in the first couple rounds. Canelo unloaded everything. He unloaded everything that he had. He attacked Bivol's arms. He tried to go for some uppercuts in the inside. But Beevils had a really great defense. He had that guard protecting his body nice and well, the high guard. And then he was just letting Canelo unload in the first couple rounds. In the first few rounds, Canelo's just unloading, right? And Beevils just guarding and just absorbing all the shots. And then when Canelo starts slowing down, that's when Beevils starts, attacking. That's when Beevils, the high guard, you see less of the high guard because he's using hands now, because he's attacking Canelo, because Canelo is gassed out, and all Canelo has is tank for his reflexes. That's all he had left. Canelo, the only energy he had left, the stamina that he had left, was he was using that stamina to parry and to weave and to dodge all the punches of Bivol. Bivol missed a lot of punches. Alright? Bivol missed a lot of punches. Canelo dodged a lot of punches, and I'm pretty sure that's why he thinks he won the fight. And yeah, I mean, in his eyes, I can understand why he believes he won the fight, because he dodged a lot of punches. But the problem is that Canelo just wasn't as active throwing punches as Bivol. That was the only big difference in that fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can understand why he thinks that, but he just wasn't as active throwing as much, because whatever he had left was just dodging with his head moving and whatever he had left, because he didn't have the energy to throw combinations or to counter. He just was so gassed out that if he didn't use all the energy and he decided to go at Bivol, go toe to toe with Bivol in the later rounds, he would have gotten KO'd. Canelo would have gotten KO'd if he would have kept going, throwing hands and not. Plus, all of his energy he used those, with those power shots, with those body shots, and just using all that. So, like I said before, Canelo would have gotten KO'd. Canelo would have gotten KO'd if he just decided to trade with Bivol. It is what it is. 175, it's too much for Canelo, man. I don't think Canelo will be able to beat Bivol at 175. I think if he fights at 168, I think he will be able to beat Bivol at 168, because he will have the energy and the stamina to actually throw hands. And just 175, there's no chance Canelo's gonna beat Bivol. And also, they've taken your boy out of number one spot for the pound for pound. In my eyes, Canelo is still number one pound for pound. All right, people are too fast to put Crawford and or Spence in number one, or especially Crawford. Yes, I understand Crawford. Undisputed at 140. 147. He only has one title at 147. He hasn't fought the best at 147. And he hasn't even fought Spence yet. He hasn't even fought Spence. And you already want to put him at number one. You can't put Terence Crawford at number one when he hasn't even fought Spence. He hasn't even gone undisputed again on 147. Meanwhile, you have Canelo who's been unified in like three different weight classes. He's been unified in 3 different weight classes. And he's been champion in 4 different weight classes, and he undisputed at 168. And his resume speaks for itself. Canelo has the best resume. He's still undisputed at 168. So in my eyes, Canelo is still number one. And if I had a choice to have put someone else at number one, that would be Usyk. Alexander Usyk will be number one if Canelo's not number one. But Terence Crawford does not deserve number one yet until we see that fight with Spence. Alexander Usyk is number one if Canelo's not number one. But Terence Crawford, you can't put him until he fights Spence. Anyways, yes, Canelo's still number one. Stop disrespecting Canelo. I'm pretty sure he's still number one. He's still the face of boxing. And he still has the payday, And Canelo will still... I believe that Canelo still smokes Benavidez and Charlo. and Andrade. Anyone at 168. I think Canelo beats anyone at 168 and below, but he 175, there's no chance. All right. But anyways, yes, fuck these haters, man. Canelo is still up there, still number one. Or Bevo, or it's either Canelo or Usyk. They're both tied for number one. So, thank you all for watching, and stop the disrespect.